Hello, welcome to another episode of the asset browser that we're building from scratch, which is really a nice project we're doing here. Hope you're enjoying the lessons. I'm enjoying this project a lot. It's something that I really enjoy, and man, I'm having a lot of fun doing this. And I think I haven't had this. I made several asset browsers. I think this is the best one I made so far. So yeah, I mean, I had some good asset browsers before, but this one is pretty cool. And putting all that experience from past into this one, which is always good for you, because I can just make it as beautiful as possible, and you're learning along the way, right? Cool. All right, so let's go and see a few things that I did today. I wanted to mainly get these buttons working. So that's going to be the focus of today. Learning how to make these buttons switch to the different sections. See the thumbnails are a little bit big. I also did some fixing on that. Fixing the actual size of this, the size of the text, the position of the text, the position of this guy. But mainly, as I mentioned, just having these guys work. Like, for example, if I click studio, it's already at the studio, so it does nothing. So if I go to in there, now it starts loading the in there file. So that's great because you're going to have access to the whole set of HDRs now from the website right here from Houdini. So, yep, I think if we just hook the resolution here, it should be done with everything we need to do for this, basically, and be really functional. So you can see I click the all. Now I'm loading every single, and it's already done. Wow, that was fast, dude. That was pretty cool, because there's a bunch of HDRs in this section. Maybe we need a counter, maybe to put the counter somewhere. Cool. That maybe notes for next session. But yeah, you can see that now you can just switch to all these sections. So as I mentioned, you can just get all the HDRIs from Polyhaven right in Houdini and use them. So at this point, I just want to have it like useful for every single thing. Like before, it was useful while we were only using the studio. So now it's useful. We still need to hook the 1K. I didn't do that, but I can just maybe at the end just do that really quickly and fix that. Here in the code, how are we downloading that? Where is it that I'm hardcoding that? Here, I'm hardcoding it here. We could just change this to obey one of these things. And I don't really know if all assets have the same resolution. I think some assets don't. So for now, I think we could just hardcode them. Polyhaven. We can hardcode one of the sizes of those. Let's see. So this guy has like 1K, 2, 4, 8, and 16. Maybe that's the ones that we can do that at the end. I didn't do that for this session, but we can totally do that. Let's similar assets. 1, 2, 4, and 16. I think every single asset has those. Seems like they do. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's 2K, 4K, 8K, and 16K. All right, cool. We'll do that at the end, and that basically is gonna be because right now it's just downloading the 1K, but we can just hook this up, and it's gonna be useful for every single HDR, and should be useful already for you to start using. And after that, we're gonna do some other things like adding search here, adding these things, caching it to a database, adding an extra details panel on the side, some other stuff. But yeah, all right. So let's start with this, and like I said, I wanna make these buttons work. Right, and right now they work because that's what I already have done. Also, another thing that I did is I moved the project to my NAS. So I moved this to my NAS, and I have this path to add it here. Before we didn't have this because I was loading it directly from the Houdini user folder. But now I moved this to my NAS, and it's something that you might be doing if you're in a studio or if you're a freelancer, you have some tools on someplace. You could have this be on H site. I have an H site folder and I put some stuff there. In this case, I just put it on my NAS, and this is the way you can just append that to the Python path. So all this stuff below works. So you just import this package module and then just use this to append that path. So if you put this in any other path that is not the standard Houdini scripts folder or Python 3 libs, it's called. What's it called? I don't remember. But yeah, that's how you do it. So I'm gonna do what I always do when I start this, moving this stuff. I mean, removing the latest version and continue with the version that we are working on, which is on the same place. So you can see now this is. Oh, also I added some spacing here, so I didn't want it to have this spacing. If you want to have that spacing, that's great, but I don't want to have that spacing there. So let's see how I did that. This is pretty simple. Let's go here. So I'm here in the code. Maybe I need to make the code a little bit bigger. Just make it big, like increase font size. Font. There was a increase font size. Yeah, there is. Why is that so? Just gonna make it bigger here. I think that's big enough. Okay, so let's go to where we are creating the flow, the flow chart, the flow layout. Sorry, flow layout. Here, we're creating the flow layout here. So here we can just set there this is a layout. Remember that the flow layout is actually inheriting from queue layout. So layouts have spacing parameter we can set. So we could just set assets view dot set spacing. You can see it's already helping me there, and you can set the spacing to whatever. In my case, I just put it to 0, and you can see if I refresh that, now you can see there's no spacing, and these guys are closer together. If you want to have a little bit of space, you can do like maybe 2. I think it's pixels. Wait, what did I do? Has no attribute asset collect. What are you saying? Where are you failing? Come on. Not sure exactly why this is failing. Oh, there we go. So now you can see there's a little bit of space now. So you can set as much space as you want here. I don't want any space, so I'm just gonna set that to not have any space. The other thing is I'm gonna make this asset view global, or just a member of this class, because we are not making it that. So let's add the self dot. So make it available. It's not global. It's just a member of this. So we cannot actually access that when we make the rest of this, which is going to be the part of the class. So you can see it here. I also have to self.assetView. Anywhere I have, let's just run this to see that everything still works, and it does. Okay, it works. So we need to make most of this, which is actually the main functionality of this, which actually loads the assets here into a function, basically, right? So let's see. I'm going to grab everything from here basically. So you can see up to here it's all just creating stuff and just properties here. So here is where the actual logic of adding this starts, right? So let's just I'm just gonna delete some of this stuff that is just there. We don't need that anymore. Well, I'm gonna leave that URL, but I'm gonna actually just break this into a function right here. So you can see we have the initialization function here, but we're gonna break this and I'm gonna call this load assets. Load assets here. It's gonna take a self, and then we're gonna have a section here. That's what we're gonna load this this section here. This studio, this is loading right now. This is loading the studio category. So we're gonna have a category here, category here, and it's gonna be, by default, it's gonna be studio. If you wanna load something else by default, you can change it here. Now, all these below, it's actually part of this function, right? We broke this into two parts, but there's gonna be something broken here. So this main layout is basically saying like, I don't know what's happening here. So let's remove that one, and let's put that one over here. So let's just, at the end of all this setup, we just set the layout, and then we set the load asset stuff over there. If we run this right now, you can see we have nothing because we're not really running this loading anymore, right? So it's just not loading anything there because we broke it into a function. So we need to actually load that here. Yeah, here. Let's just say self that load assets, and load assets requires a category, but I mean doesn't require a category, but it's optional there. But right now it should work. Sometimes it takes a little while to load. I'm not sure exactly why, but there you go. You can see it's working as it was working before. So basically we just broke this into something, but we're not really doing exactly what we want here. The other thing is I'm also going to break this little loop that we have here. Let me delete all this dead code there. This little loop that where we're populating the buttons here, I don't want this to be part of the asset because I'm going to actually connect this to a function, these buttons, so we can actually call this function with a category. So I'm going to copy that out of there. I'm going to put it over here. So after the layout here. So we set up the buttons here, here in this area. Before we, and then we can call this function from these buttons as well, right? You can see that why I'm doing that, but this is all still gonna work the same way, right? So everything's happening. You can see if I don't load the assets, we're gonna have the buttons. The buttons are there. They're not hooked into not anything yet, but we're gonna hook them, right? So, and I'm just loading the asset, the studio, because that's I think the smaller category, and it's just pretty fast to load. All right, so that is part of that. So now here in the buttons, we need to do something right here. These buttons right now, they're connected to nothing. So let's say this cat button, this is category button, doesn't have to do anything with felines. When this is clicked, we're gonna connect it to something. Connect. So it's basically the same thing that we did when we're doing this for the H asset. We're connecting it to something, right? And I'm gonna create a new function. Let's create it down here. Def category clicked. And this is gonna take no parameters, and this is gonna pass for now, so we don't error there. And let's connect it to that self. That category, self that category clicked. No need for the parentheses there. And this should be doing something now. If we don't pass this, if you print something here, that let's say ouch. Because you clicked on the button and it's complaining about being pushed. If we reload this, let's see. We also printing some weird stuff over here. Ouch, ouch, ouch. So these guys already have connected to that function, right? And then you maybe remember when we did that for these assets, when we connected those here, we send this to the asset click. We got this object name for each one of the of these guys to get who was sending that that signal, and we set the object here. I mean, you could do that for the keys as well, for the buttons here on the categories, but we're gonna use, since these categories are exactly the names that we want to load, we're gonna just use these names. So we're just gonna use this the text exactly there. Again, if you feel like it's better to just have the object name, set the object name to each one of those so you have the exact thing, not depending on the text, go ahead. But in my case, I'm gonna be using this for that. So instead of just doing that here, we're gonna do exactly the self sender here. Let's just do it here. Self that sender. Again, who is clicking on me? Let's get the text of that. Actually, I think it's just text like that. Let's see if it actually works. Oh yeah, here we go. We have the text of the button there. So basically we're grabbing this text and printing that, and that's what we're gonna send as a category. Okay. Also, let me not print this stuff because I don't want. We are already done with this fonts stuff that we did before, so that is good. We don't need that anymore, so I don't need to print that anymore. And starting as a browser, that's fine. Let's click all outdoor. So all right, that's working great. All right, so there's a few things we need to do here in this category clicked stuff. So what we're gonna do is get the text, get the category. If the category is the same as the one that is currently loaded, we're not gonna load it. I mean, we're not gonna be sending a request unless it's a new category, right? So let's create a category here. It's gonna be a category that we have here, and it's gonna be that stuff we did before, sender text. So the category is gonna be that text that we're grabbing from the button, right? We're also gonna create a current category property for the class here, where we'll have all this stuff. Self current category. I'm gonna set this to studio just so we load studio by default. Again, you can set this to something else if you want, or just to nothing and load nothing before that. But I'm gonna keep it to a studio because that is a simple category, and it's a useful category actually as well. So let's do that. And you're gonna see why I'm doing this in a second. So I'm creating a category here and a category in the class because I'm gonna check between the two. So let's say here, this is where I'm gonna check that self. If this category that I just extracted from the button is equal to the current category. So basically, if we are trying to load the same category, just return. So this basically is gonna say, if you're clicking the same category, I don't care. Don't do anything. Okay. So you can even see if I get this print and put it below here. If I try to print this category after this, if it's the same thing, it shouldn't print, right? So if we reload this and I say, try loading indoor. So indoor works. If I click studio, oh yeah, it's not working because we're never setting this again, right? When we change it, this is not being set. So if this is not the same category, let's set it here below to the category. It's gonna be equal to category. Seems to have no effect. What? It's fine. All right. Wait, what am I doing? Current category is category. Yeah, this is not double equal, sorry, just equal category. All right, so if the category is the same, don't do anything. If it's not the same, just execute this part, which is gonna set the current category to the new thing you just clicked on. So if we go to indoor, it prints. If we're to studio, it prints. If I click studio again, it's doing nothing, right? It's not reloading again. It's doing this code right here. It's just not executed unless I click another. And if I click that again, that doesn't. So we're just avoiding loading the same category over and over, which is not really needed. So that's great. And now we could just say here, if this is all good, let's just not print that anymore. We can say self.load assets. And then we can set the category that we want here. The category, we can send the current category we have. So we're basically saying, okay, we are good. It's not the same category. Just go ahead and load the assets with this new category instead of the default one here. So we have that. And then if we click on skies, you can see that not much happened. But if we scroll down, we have something else here. If we click again, well, we have more studios. So what's happening right now is that it's loading studio over and over again on here. You can see we have Christmas studio here, Christmas studio, Christmas photo studio. So we're loading it again and again and again, because here in the load assets, we're not changing the address here yet. So let's remove that category and then pass the category that we are, the variable, the parameter here that we are sending it. But again, this is not gonna work because if I click skies, you can see down here it's gonna load the skies. So it's adding to this because we're not clearing this. A widget before we do this. So we're gonna, there are several ways we could do this. So what we need is to clear the widgets here, or the items that are on this layout, before we can populate it, right? There's a hacky way I've been doing this before, and there's a new way I did this for this class, but both work. So I'm just gonna copy this function that I did. I'm gonna put it over here. So I'm gonna explain what's happening here. So this is clear layout, and what is this saying? Make function from method. What are you saying, dude? Could it make static? No, I want to make it static. It's part of this. So this takes a layout, and then I'm not gonna print clear assets. Let's remove that. So while this layout has something inside of it, just goes inside the each one of these items and set to delete, basically. It deletes all these widgets. That's one way to do it, and you could do that. And we're gonna do both, and you can see, you can try and do the one you think it works the best for you. In my case, I'm gonna go here, and then before we load the assets, we're gonna clear the assets. So let's go self clear layout. So we're gonna clear that layout, and we're gonna send the assets layout, which is the asset view, sorry, which is the flow layout. So that's the one that we want to clear. So this is gonna delete the assets, and we can actually, if we want to just look at that, you can see we reload and we click something, you can see it removes all the assets there and just it's blank again. And then when this is blank, we can add the other assets. And if we do that, let's see now, let's click on skies. You can see now that brings all the skies again here, and it's gonna be good. The other way that I've done this before, and I thought that this was a little bit naive, really. It's just the way that I did it before. I think this is the better way, because you're setting the assets to delete and the memory is being freed and all. So the thing that I did before is just actually recreate this part, the flow layout every time. But I don't want to do that anymore. I think that could lead to maybe getting some memory leaking or something. Because these assets, I guess they're going to be deleted because they're created again and stuff, but not sure. But this works as well. Like if you do it like this, just recreate the widget and the flow layout here. See if I click skies. That works as well. But I think the other way it's safer. So let's stick to that one. Okay. Let's stick to this. So we have that is working now, and that's great. Okay, now one thing we need to do is actually to load all the HDRs here. If we click all, nothing's gonna happen really, because that is not actually a category. The category is, it's basically this address here that I'm highlighting. Without the category, if you just called for the HDRs, is when it gives you all of them. So what we're gonna do here, instead of just making it, I'm just gonna make it easy here. Which what we're gonna do is, if the category it's equal to all, we're gonna call this address, this URL. Else, actually here, else. Not like that. Else here, we're gonna use this address, right? So if this is all, we're gonna call this, so gives us all the HDRs. No need for a category here. And else, we're gonna use this plus the category there at the end here. So let's test that. So if we click outdoor, loads some stuff. Wait, sorry, I forgot to uncomment this line. I commented that line when I was testing that other part that I told you about. Let's just do that again. And we have that. Let's see, outdoor. Outdoor. Okay, there we go. Removes the other part. And if we click all, it's doing something. There we go. So it's doing that. Great. So now it loads all the assets here. We have basically, you can see it's still loading, which is great, but we can still already start like scrolling and seeing what's going on here. So we have all the HDR images here. So you can just use them, which is great. This is just very useful. All right. Okay, so now let's get this label to show us what category we have, because right now it's just an outdoor, and that's the default there. So let's grab that here from the widgets. I'm gonna call this self that. Let's call this current category label, and this is gonna be self that UI dot. It's called current. It depends on how you call it. I call mine current cat LBL for label. So this guy, we're gonna set that. We're gonna set that category. I guess here when we load the assets, right? Because let's see, where do we wanna call that? Right, so here, when we're doing the assets here, first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna set the that label here, self that current category label. This has a set text property. Right now the text it's set to how you see that there, so we're gonna actually type that HDRs. Later, if we have categories and stuff in the when we load assets, not just models or textures or HDRIs, we're gonna change this maybe. For now, let's just do it like this, and then we're gonna add here the self current category that we created above, and then let's capitalize this to make it have a capital letter capitalized like that. So it has the first letter is uppercase. So let's try this. This should be now changing when we click on this guy. Let's it says studio now. There we go. Because it changed because when it loads the assets, it changes to this outdoor, and there we go. Outdoor. It's changed to indoor. Indoor works. You can see it's loading. This is something that we're gonna need to fix later. If there's a category that's still loading and you click another one, it basically needs to end before you can see the next category, which is not great. We need to find a way to cancel that process and load the next one back. See, for example, if you click really quickly on several categories, that's gonna be problematic right now. So just so you know, that is gonna be a problem at the moment. The way we have it, it's gonna be problematic. We're gonna fix that later, which in some way makes me kind of go for a model view. Change this to a model view system, but I'm not sure if I want to do that. Maybe we need to, because if we have a ton of assets, this is gonna become problematic and it's gonna load really slow. So maybe that's something to consider. Maybe later. All right, so that is done. So now I want to do some fixing to the this thumbnail part, and we also want to make this drop down work, right? So let's go to the have designer open here, but let me open. I started a new layout here. So this is going to be version 3 of this, and this is going to be the new area we're going to add. So it's going to be for the next part of this. Let's see if I can open this directly. Opening files. There, let's modify this one. This one we have a few things here, 1K, 2K, 4K. Then we need to add 8K, and let's move that down, and 16K. I think that was the stuff we had on the website, right? Let's see, 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. Okay, let's have those there. Right, that is good. Now let's apply that, save that, and let's see if we get that change here on the, yeah, we do. Great, so we have this. Now we can use that for the drop down. Let's do that first, and then we can do the stylization of the buttons after that. So we are hard coding that here, and this is a lowercase k, and this is an uppercase k. So we should take that into consideration, and then we need to add that here in the resolution. So we need to grab this from there. So let's do again same thing, since that resolution can be useful in several places. Let's make this a member of this class, a property of this class, resolution. Let's make it equal to, so this, we need access to this guy really. So let's just do for now, by default, let's make it 1K, I guess. You can make this whatever you want for now, but after we get this guy, we need to grab the current index of it and then see what is the text of it, and then hook this function to this event to a function that populates this and gets you that variable ready from when you click download. All right, so we have that. We need to grab this guy's call here. Right now it's called combo box, which is great. Resolution combo box. Let's just name it like that. Save it and then grab it here as well. Self that resolution equals self that UI that resolution combo box. So that should be fine there. I don't remember exactly how to get that, so let's try to print that. Print self dot resolution dot maybe text. I don't remember exactly. Has not attributed text, so no. Maybe current index. I didn't do this part before, so you're gonna have to deal with me a little bit here. So you know what? Let's just do this. So you learn how to do this stuff. Let's. There's a lot more documentation for PyQt than there is for PySide. So I always search for PyQt, but it's up to you. I just maybe search both. Get combo box value like that, and here says that there is a current text. Oh, maybe not. Get value of combo box, item text, and the index. But how do I know the index? I need to know the index of it. Maybe index. Oh, there is an index here. So let's see. Index is requiring something here. Has no attribute index. Combo box and attribute index. Let's see. Item text. Let's see. Item. No. Let's see. We should just go to maybe this. The official documentation and see current text. Seems like that is the actual. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Current, but I didn't get any completion here, and I doubted that. Let's see, current text. And yeah, current text, there it is, 1K, right? So when this thing changes, it's gonna give us the different text there. So that is working, cool. All right, let's just delete that. So this is the documentation. It's pretty useful for getting that stuff. You can see the current index. You can get it as well here. This should be an event here as well. Event signals. Current index change, I think, is the one we're going to connect for that to tell us what is changed to. So connecting that to a function. So let's do that, I guess, right here. Self dot resolution dot current index change. Current index change dot connect to. We need to create a function for this. Let's say def Or maybe, no, let's just create a function. Maybe we need to do some other stuff there. I was just thinking, just setting this resolution over here. Oh, wait, we're double. This is need to be combo box. We're shadowing this variable. Sorry. Maybe you noticed that before. I didn't. We could just, when we change this, we could get the index and pass it here, but we're going to set a variable here. Resolution change. Let's call that. And seems like this maybe throw us an index. Let's try that and then print index. Let's see if that works. And now let's cook it to the self that resolution changed. Not need anything there. What is it saying here? Maybe static. I don't need to make it static. Thank you, Python. Let's see if this works. 2K. Oh, okay. 1, 4. Okay, it is throwing us the index from this, which is great. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. There. 4. There we go. So this is working. Great. So now we just need to, right now, the only thing we need is to set this resolution here. We don't need really the index, but we may need it later, but we can self that resolution is going to be equal to self dot resolution combo box current text, was it? And then we need to make this lowercase because we need to be at lowercase. Let's print this again. Self dot resolution. So we know that we're getting the actual thing we need here. Let's see. I don't want to need that. 2K. Yep, it's working. 4K. Yep. 8K. 16K. 1K. Good. That is working. So now we just need to replace the resolution that we have hard coded here. We can just say this. We can either just change this to self.resolution or hook this to self.resolution and it would work over here. So we can try that and see if we are actually getting the right thing. So we're getting 1K files here. Let's click on this, one of these things, select the light. So I need a light, environment light. I don't know. Oh, yeah, because that is not the, that was the, not, yeah, the project, it's over here. The node view is what here. I was trying to do it in the properties here. So now if I click this, it downloads that and it's there. And this should be, if we see the, let me make Houdini bigger. This should be the 1K. Yeah, it is the 1K one. So let's switch this to 4K and click this Christmas one and see if we get the 4K one. Yeah, you can see Christmas photo 4K. Awesome. That is working. That is totally working. Let's get the 2K for this one. Select the light. Yeah, sure. Something is working here, which is weird. 4K. There we go. 2K. Yeah, it's working. Great. All right. That works. That works. Perfect. All right. So let's just now finish this with some changes on the buttons here, and then we can call it done for today. We've done really good for now. So let's go do some changes to how we are calculating the thumbnails. We wanna do that. So we have specific, really exact sizing of this, and you can see that the size of the text is also not too good, not good positioned, and this text is a little bit cut. There's a few things we're gonna need to fix there. Also, let's go to the button, mix asset browser. Here, I don't want to add this X here on the button because I noticed that at smaller resolution, this thing is actually there. So let's remove that X there. We don't even need to just pass that like that. We can just remove the text. There's no text. So this is going to move a little bit. You can see now it moved over here because there was actually some text there. It was really small and it wasn't visible here, but it was visible in my laptop yesterday when I was doing that. So, all right, so we're gonna change the thumbnail size, and we're gonna calculate that again where we have the thumbnail size. Let's find that here. So we're gonna do some calculations here. I figure the resolution these guys come from the website, because you can see if I get like, if I add 300 to this and 100 to this and 100 to that, this doesn't really work. You can see there's a little bit of a little edge there. And I think I had also one little fix. Where is that fix thing? Fine. Fix. No, seems like I don't have the fix on this, but I was trying to do a fix to fix that, and that was not really a good way to do it. So we're gonna calculate the actual width from the height. So we're gonna say this I just need to divide it. So let's say we want the height to be 256, and I calculated that the thumb width needs to be equals to the thumb height plus the thumb height times 0.33333, like that. And then we're gonna make this an integer value because we don't want to pass like a float value here. Just cast it into an integer. And then I found that they're still like, let's use this now here in this. Let's do the thumb height here, the thumb width here. If we do that, now we just need to set one parameter, which eventually is going to become also a drop down like this to have bigger and smaller thumbnails. You can see there is like a little bit of a bigger lip here on the width. It's a little bit weird, but it's exactly 6 pixels. I don't know exactly why. No, actually I don't want to do it here. I want to do it to here to the width. I'm gonna just remove 6 pixels, and that gives me a really good representation of the size. If I make this 512, gonna have bigger thumbnails, and you can see they fit exactly on the button there, which is great. Now this guy is wrong, and the text is wrong, and it's really small at this big size. So let's fix those things now. Now that we have the text, I mean the correct size calculated. Let's make this a little bit bigger, 300. We have some big thumbnails, but not super huge. You can see the text is just wrong. It's just on the wrong place there, right? So here in the we also want to go here to the on the asset mix asset item here, and set the minimum size to let's see. No, these things are right. Let's use the thumb size, and all this stuff is good. That is correct. What we want to change is the label here, and then the button also to make it move over there. So let's move the button. The button is going to be really, this is the button here, this little checkbox. This is going to be really simple. This is going to go to, and say, use the thumb size width minus 60 really, minus 60. So this thing it's 50. You can see that puts it exactly there. There's like a little bit of like 10 pixels from here to the edge. So that puts it there, and whatever size this button is always going to be on that corner. So that's good. So the label size is going to be this value we have here. We're going to set a variable for that to calculate it. Let me see. Put it here. Self label. So this label, we don't need to make it a property of the class, but we're gonna just make it. Maybe we need it later for something. Label. Come on, what am I typing? Self dot label name size. The size is gonna be. I calculated this also. You can make this as big as you want. This is how I found it to work for me right now. So I'm just getting the height of the thumb size, and I'm dividing that by 16. I'm getting a number there. I'm gonna plug this number here, and the way I'm gonna plug that number here is I'm just gonna divide this thing into two strings here, like that. And here in the middle, I'm gonna replace this with that number there that we just created, self that label name size. And also we need to cast this to a string, because that is a number, and it's gonna say they can't concatenate that. So like that. And this is maybe just breaking the line because it's too big, but that is what it's doing. Just put in this number here, put it there. So now if we change that, you can see now it's bigger, right? So it's relative to the size of the thumbnail. If the thumbnail is smaller, it's gonna be smaller. So now you wanna put it right under this line here. And I also calculated that, measuring how big this is and getting the percentage. Basically, I just got like a 400 height thumbnail divided by the number of pixels here, which was 256, and I got 1.5. So that is the ratio that I'm using for that. So that's how I calculated that. And we just use this here on this move here where we're moving the label. So that's basically what I'm doing. So how I did that, some size dot height, it's gonna be divided by 1.5, and that you can see it's gonna put the label below that line, which is not what I want. You can see it's putting it below that line. I want it to be this is gonna be the bottom. So you can see it's putting it there. If you want it there, it's fine. I want to put it above, just so you can actually get the size of this label, how big it is, anytime. So there's something called size hint. So let's just get that and add it to this. I mean, subtract it to this, so it's higher. So the name label, we can just say size hint. You can see that's the hint, and we can get the height from that, not the both parameters, because that's a Q size property probably. So let's subtract the height from that, and now you can see it is there. It is on the proper position. And now if we also, I would just cast this to an int just for be safe when we are just doing a division here. We just will be safe to cast it to an int. If we go now to where we have the thumb size, which is here, thumb height, let's make this 100. Oh, that is not how I do it. I want to do it 100 and do that. Now this is pretty small, but you can see the text is smaller and it is in the right place. Now we're not scaling this checkbox, but we could also scale it down. You can see it is working. I mean, it's pretty small, but let's make it 200. Just trying to prove the point that it's working at every size. You can see now it's working at 200. It's on the right position. The text is scaling as well. If we make this 300, of course, we can make this parameter a drop down here, just making like small, big thumbnail sizes or numbers or whatever you want to do that. And you can see now it's working and it's in the correct place that I wanted, which is great. I really like that. All right, and with that, I think we're done for today. Let's make this 256 again and reload it. Until we're done for now, this thing is pretty useful already right now. It can get better because we're not caching. We're always getting the images from the website, but you can already go to different sections. It takes a little bit to do that. That's maybe something that we can improve on. It's not the end of the world for me. Abandon, canteen. You can see it's loading that, and it works, and it just loads that. I'm not sure exactly why it's not showing on the viewport, but it is loading it. Light enable, disable. I'm not sure exactly why this thing is not showing on the viewport, but it is loading. Let's try to reset the viewport. And doesn't show. Not sure exactly why, but there we go. It is working. Maybe we need some way to refresh the viewport when this finishes, when the thread is done. But yeah, this is working. This is totally working. I think it's because it's assigning this value before this finishes downloading, and it doesn't. Houdini is like, I don't know that image yet. Adam's place. So it's not. Oh wait, it was that 2K. Yeah, it is 2K. Okay, so it is working. So that maybe that is happening. Update textures. No, that doesn't work either. That's weird. Something we're doing wrong here, and it's a matter of improving it, but it is working. And I think it's because we're assigning this before this ends. Maybe we need to just assign it when the thread is done, and now that could fix that issue, or reassign it when the thread is done. But man, it's working. Like I mentioned, everything is working now. You can go all the categories. You can set the resolution. You can assign it to. So it's pretty much a useful asset browser for now. There's other things I want to do, but right now it looks good. These buttons here, I don't like this panel. We have this very pretty assets here. I want to make this pretty as well. Again, I want to have a panel on the left. I wanted to show you that this is Quixel Bridge, and something like this panel is what I want to do. So you can see this pops this panel to the left, so we can see these images over here. Have the name, have some labels, and some related assets, and the resolution and all that stuff. It's gonna be here, and we're gonna have a download button here. So we're not gonna be downloaded when you click on it. You're gonna click and see the properties, and then when you click there, it's gonna be when it's downloaded, and this is gonna be green when it's downloaded. And so for a shortcut, you could just click here and assign it without opening the panel there. All right, we're done for now. Hope you enjoyed this. This was a long one. We're over an hour already. So, right, hopefully you will learn a lot today, and I'll see you in the next episode of this amazing asset browser. All right, so let's keep learning together.